I wanted to talk today about rewards and challenges and what I've come to figure out for myself as to what motivates me and some challenges that I've run into throughout this whole process. I guess to start off, I will tell you guys kind of my process through the 90-day challenge that I started with. I had mentioned in my previous video how I had started making videos for myself to kind of just retrace my steps of what I had practiced during the day, and how that did keep me motivated to keep practicing every day so that I could have a video every single day talking about what I had done that day to learn Portuguese. And so and I did that every day for 90 days straight, and that kept me going. I was like, I need to practice Portuguese so that I can make that video for myself, and so that kept me going. But I will say that around day 54, I know it's a random number, but around day 54, I got seriously unmotivated. Like, I just felt like I was never gonna learn, and yeah, I'm still learning to this day, and it's been over 5 months, and but I'm practicing every day because I really do want this. I want this, and I want to be able to learn Portuguese and be fluent in it. But around day 55, 54, 55, it was so hard to actually be motivated. And I remember I was sitting there almost the entire day thinking to myself, I don't want to practice because I feel like I'm not getting anywhere, and this is really hard and difficult to learn a new language, and I wish I had learned a new language when I was a child, but that obviously wasn't in the cards for me. And I seriously was losing all traction with it. And so I pulled up YouTube like I usually did, and I would watch videos of people who have made goals for themselves and their progress with their own goals and what they did. And that helped a lot. And it inspired me quite a bit to watch videos of other people reaching their goals and how they got there and what they did to get there. But it all came down to I needed to find what worked for me to motivate me, because if somebody does something that motivates them and then I try it and it's just like trudging through the mud, it is not a goal that works. Like, it's not a motivation that works for me. And I learned that the hard way, because I was like, I'm gonna look at flashcards every day. I'm gonna keep a really detailed notebook of all the words I learned in one day and all this other stuff, and it was just tedious. It was so tedious, and it was so boring. It was so boring to practice that way, and that's where I was losing all of my motivation. And so I finally decided, you know what, like, I need to figure out what works for me. And of course, like, you need to figure out what works for you, but it was that moment when I was really searching a lot, like, okay, I need to figure out what works for me so that I can keep motivated and I can stay on this goal that I'm on for 90 days. And so I finally ran into this concept of spaced reviewing, and which I don't know if that's officially what it's called, but it's where you take things that you've learned a couple of weeks ago, a couple of days ago, and then you just review them while you're still learning new things. And obviously, like, I would go back and try to remember the days of the weeks or numbers or months or the alphabet even. And it wasn't a consistent thing that I did. But when I figured out spaced reviewing, it was really cool because I was able to look back and I was like, oh, of course I know these things. It's like, it wasn't just flashcards though. It wasn't just one word phrases. It was actual like phrases, long sentences that I would go back to review. And I started looking up on YouTube videos of books because I heard that reading in the language that you're trying to learn is really helpful, and watching shows in the language that you're trying to learn is really helpful. And so I thought to myself, you know what? If I can figure this out and like figure out what I like most, then this will be really helpful. And so I started doing that, and I found books on YouTube. I just looked up books in Portuguese on YouTube, and I started listening to them and reading along with them. And then I would try to say the sentence before I listened to the sentence. And so I did that every day, and I really liked it. I really loved it. I really enjoyed being able to read the words and then hear it back and then repeat it. And that was something that got me motivated and excited again. And I was like, wow, this is really cool. Like, I really like doing this. And so I kept on doing it for a while, and around day 75, 74, I started to notice that I started picking up a lot more words as I was listening to movies that I was watching in Portuguese, or the books that I was reading on YouTube. And it was really cool, and I was like, oh, I like understand some of the stuff that I'm learning. This is so awesome. And I really enjoyed that, and it kept me motivated throughout the rest of it. And it was so cool and so amazing. And yeah, there were some days where I was like, okay, I need to do it. But it was so much fun when I did it, and when I would sit down and just get it done. And learning Portuguese has really become that adventure of just fun for me at this point. And I feel like I've never, like, that 90-day challenge was a springboard for me to just jump into a 120-day challenge. And now I'm on a 6-month challenge. And you're not, like, for me anyway, I know I'm not going to be able to learn a language overnight unless some miracle happens. But it's really cool because the more you do it, the more consistent you are with it, the more you learn. And of course, the more you learn, but I can actually understand things so much more now. And it's so cool because I guess I doubted myself if I was even able to learn a new language. And as I've been practicing and learning and consistent every single day with practicing Portuguese, I start picking up more, and I've picked up more, and I remember sentences now in Portuguese, and I think that's so cool. And of course, I am still not really good at it, but I guess I shouldn't downplay myself. I think I'm a lot better than I was at day 90. And I'm really glad I didn't stop at day 90 because it has opened up so many more goals in the future that I want to pursue, possibly new languages that I'd like to pursue in the future as well. And so that, for me, was the biggest motivation, was just finding a way to learn that I liked. Because it got so boring, just the textbook stuff. It got so boring, and it was really, it almost made me lose all hope in even continuing with this. And so I'm really grateful that I was able to learn the way that motivates me best. And if that's watching videos for you guys, or music, oh, I love Portuguese music. It's so good. It's so great. Listening to music is awesome in Portuguese. But if movies are your thing, listening to it in a different language, or flashcards with like sentences instead, or going back and actually writing stuff down, like, do what is best for you. Because everyone has their own way to learn, And you just got to do it. Especially if you're doing it on your own, you have to find the way that works best for you. Because challenges that I've run into was the motivation. Like the biggest thing that I ran into was the motivation to keep going, to want to keep going, because it did get kind of boring, just over and over and over again, just reviewing and reviewing and reviewing. But when you find that niche that you really like about language learning, it's what keeps you going, and it's so awesome. And that's what excites me the most, and what motivates me the most is that I found that niche. I enjoy it and I love it. And if it's an app that excites you to do it every day, do it for 5 minutes. I mean, yeah, life is busy and there are things that you want to get done in the day, but for 5 minutes, it all adds up. It does. It really does. And I am hoping for the best. I know that I'm learning, and it's really cool to see myself grow in this language, and to see myself just know more words, which is really cool. And conjugations, oh my goodness, those are hard. Like, that's a challenge too. Conjugations are still a challenge for me, and learning which ones are the right ones, and present and past tense and future tense, all those things. It's difficult, guys. Learning a language on your own is really difficult. But it is what it is, and you know what? Life goes on, but I don't want to miss this opportunity to be learning while I can. So good luck on your journey as you continue on it. I will see you all next week.